Okay, hi. Today we are going to show to practice the protocol of using LICO to measure to determine the FEFM and also the quenching coefficient. So for this exercise, the settings for this exercise we are referring to the LICO itself. So for these protocols, all the settings here you can obtain from the LICO website. So for the activity today, the plant we are dealing with will be Arabidopsis. So this plant is about 40, thus the age is about 40 days. And as you can see here, uh, the leaf phyllotoxy is rosette. So for this practice today, uh, the protocols for selecting the leaf, we will exclude the 10 of the top leaf from the above. So we are selecting the leaf starting from the 11th leaf due to the phyllotoxy of the plant, which is rosette. So, okay, before we start the activity today, we need to dark adapt the plant about at least for overnight. So this plant has been dark adapted for more than 12 hours. But for the practice today, we are just showing we are just demo the protocols. So we are leaving the lights on. So if during the actual measurement, the light should be off and this quantum sensor should be open and turned on so we can detect the lights here. So it is detecting the surrounding lights here. If we switch off the lights, it will be 0. So in this kind of condition, it is safe to take the measurements. Okay. So moving on to the settings. Okay. So first, we need to configure the fluorometer, which under the environment, at the light, at fluorometer, we need to set the control mode to off. This is to take the dark adapt measurements. So next, we need to configure the measuring beams under fluorometry, under settings, and under measuring tabs. So here we need to turn on the measuring beam. So for the dark mode red, it is set at 50 Hz. Light mode 1 kHz, and for the flash mode red will be 250 kHz. So next we are configuring the rectangular flash. So for the red target would be 8000 micromole per meter per second, and the duration will be 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So for the margin will be 5 points. So for all of these settings, we are following the recommendation or suggestions taken from the LICO itself. Okay, lastly will be the dark pulse. For the dark pulse, the far red target will be 25 micromoles per meter square per second, and the duration will be 5 seconds. Before after will be 1, and the margin same will be 5. Okay. So next we are going to set the graph of the fluorescence, which under the measuring tab here, under F. So this graph has been set earlier, so it should be for the y-axis is fluorescence and versus time. Okay, so lastly we need to set up the log and configure the options. So now we are going to the log setup, and we are going to open a log file. So I will create a folder here. So it will be fluorescence I'll just demo. So under this folder, I will create a new files, which will be just them usually the plants itself. So for this purpose, I will just put it as demo. Okay, as you can see here now, the log is turned on, and next we are going to configure the options, which under the logging option here, should be fluorometer options. So for this practice, we are selecting number 2 because it takes into account the dark pulse. So the flash type will be rectangular. Okay, so now once the settings are done, we can start to clamp the leaf. So I want to show here, this is actually a good practice. So we enclose the leaf with paper towel, which we can dry the leaves and prevent excessive light. The leaf prevent the leaf to experience excessive light. So this can be a good practice here. So now I'm going to open up here. So this will be the leaf. Okay, so first we need to measure the leaf width. So the leaf width will be 1.9, about 1.9 centimeters. So we can go into constants here and switch to 1.9 centimeters. Alright. So next, we're going to clamp the leaf to the agar. So since the media is wet, we need to place a tissue here to prevent excess moisture get into the machine. So very carefully clamp onto the leaf. Okay. Alright. So once the machine has clamped the leaf, we need to take the first measurement, which is the dark edit measurement. So for here, we need to go to the measurements under tab F and page number 4. We need to wait until the FDT, this parameter, touch 0. So how do we determine that? Meaning we observe that there is positive and negative values here. So meaning the machine now is stable enough to take the first dark depth measurements. So to take that, you can go to the computation and press the first log. So wait for a while. The machine is taking the data. Yeah. So for here, you will obtain the first measurement, which is the dark adapted measurements and the FVFM here. Okay, so now after that we need to take the light adapted measurement and the dark pulse. So now we need to accumulate the plants with lights. So we need to turn on the light. So for how long? We need to wait until the plant is stable enough to take the measurements. So for here, under page 1 and A, so we need to wait for the assimilation, which is the the carbon dioxide assimilation, and also the GSW, the somatal conductance to water vapor. Wait for these two parameters to become stable. So how do we determine that? Uh, Usually, we are looking at the graph here. When the graph is stable, meaning a straight line, and also for the A assimilation, the absolute value, the difference, should not be more than 2 units. And for the GSW, it shouldn't be more than 10% the difference. So now we are waiting the plants to acclimatize, and also for the fluorescence, we need to wait for the graph to stable. So how long does it take to for the plants to stabilize? For this plant, based on our experience, it takes about 10 minutes for the plants to stabilize, and we can so that we can measure the second measurements. So now we can just wait the plants to stable. Okay, now as you can see, the graph here has already stabilized the A and the GSW, and also for the fluorometer fluorescence, as you can see here, it's already stabilized. So now we can take the second measurement, which is the light adapted and the dark pulse. So again here, press the lock again. So wait for the machine to take the measurement. Yeah, so here you can see the light adapted measurements, and also for the dark pulse measurements here, the 5PS2 and the photoprotections measurements. So I think that's all for the protocols. Thank you.